Here it is, the new Indian Sport Chief RT. Is it just basically a Sport Chief with some bolt-ons? Let's find out. All right, so at the dealer show this year, Indian dropped us the new Power Plus family, which of course has now a new Chieftain and a Roadmaster variant, along with the existing Challenger and Pursuit. And quite honestly, for this whole spring and for at that dealer show, that was the talk of the town. They also dropped the new Sport Chief RT, which basically at a quick glance is a Sport Chief with some bags on it. There's a few more things that it comes with that you may or may not already know about. First off, the most obvious thing is a pair of saddlebags. Now these are hard-mounted bags. They are a lockable hard bag. Opens up really nice. Got a decent amount of storage in there. And unfortunately, they're not a quick release, but if you're buying this bike, you're probably gonna leave them on anyways. The other thing that this has over the Sport Chief is a much nicer seat. Now this is already fitted to have a passenger, so you have passenger pegs. You have a seat that is a little bit of a qualifier, but it is a passenger seat for sure. And for the rider, this is a nice upgrade over what the factory Sport Chief has for a seat. This is much more comfortable, has a much nicer ledge in the back here to give you a little bit more support. The other thing that they changed on this, to give it a little bit more of a touring feel, if you will, is it has a forward control now. Now, they're not overly forward or anything like that, but they are definitely a few inches forward from where the factory, or the original, I should say, Sport Chief is. This original Sport Chief was more of a mid-control, and at first I didn't like it, but after getting some miles on a standard Sport Chief, I don't mind the mid-control of this. I do think that this is a little bit of an upgrade, and a little bit of an upgrade in the comfort end of it. Now, this bike still has the same front end as the regular Sport Chief with the inverted fork, the Brembo brakes, and the same geometry and everything. But putting you in a different riding position allows you to be a little bit more comfortable on your journey to the twisties and your journey back home. Now, the other upgrade that they have is the audio system. Now, this is a Bluetooth audio system, and it can be added to any existing Chief, whether or not you have the screen or not. Even if you have the analog control, you can just Bluetooth it directly to your phone. Truth be told, I haven't figured out how to make it work with the screen. I have not been able to get this thing paired to the screen setup. So if I'm going to use this later today and show you how it sounds on the road, I'm going to have it paired directly to my phone because I can't get this thing to work. So that being said, this is a 5-speaker system, and you have a pair of 1.5-inch tweeters, a pair of 2.5-inch mid-range drivers, and then you have a 4.5-inch subwoofer. I haven't driven this thing and played this music yet to see how it sounds, but I can tell you, being stationary, this thing really does crank. Besides those upgrades, it really basically is the Sport Chief we already know and love. You can already add the accessories to raise the windshield up higher if you'd like. If you're going to do that, you might as well raise the bars as well. I think actually with this seat and having the bars up higher, you can extend it another 6 inches with a riser, and having the forward controls, it's going to put you in a super comfortable position and still allow you to carve corners like this bike can. Of course, having the luggage, then you can bring the gear along that you want, enough for maybe a small weekend trip or something like that. But it does make this bike a little bit more usable for most people. Now, besides the stuff that this bike comes with right out of the box, you still have the fan favorite Thunderstroke 116, breathing life into the bike. You still have the inverted fork Brembo brakes. You still have Fox piggyback suspension, giving you a nice supple ride in the back. And of course, the excellent fit and finish that you come to know and love from Indian. Well, let's gear up, take this thing out for a ride, show you how the sound system works, and tell you what I think of the seating position of the new Sport Chief RT. All right, we got the bike going. I already had the bike fired up. One thing I'm going to say is this screen takes way too long to boot up. They got to do something about that. Get a better processor in it or something. This thing takes forever. And the fact that I can't connect this to that right now, and I try to follow the instructions that Indian has, and it's just not working. I've been here for like 45 minutes trying to do that, and it's extremely frustrating. So they got to get that figured out, put a video together, Indian, and show us how to do this, because I can't get it to work, and I don't think I'm that dumb. But anyways, let's go down the road, then we'll get this booted up and play you some music while we're cruising. So let's go. So when the Sport Chief originally came out, I was kind of against the whole mid-control thing until I put, 100 miles or so on one of them. And then I didn't mind it. I actually thought it rode pretty nice. And I thought I was actually fairly comfortable. The Triumph bobber that I have a Bonneville bobber, that also has a mid-control layout. And I can put, 400 miles a day on that bike. And I'm actually pretty comfortable. So that's not as big of a deal breaker for me anymore. I will say I prefer the way I'm sitting right now. I think this is a little bit more comfortable. And although with these bars, at the level that they're at right now, I am kind of leaned forward, and it's not that part of it I don't like. I feel like I'm like a big C, you know what I mean? My feet are out and my hands are out and my back is kind of hunched forward. I think if I had the taller bars, I'd be in a much better position as far as comfort goes. However, when you're carving corners and stuff, being in a little bit more ready position is kind of nice. So, and that's what this bike is for. This bike is to go out and kind of play and whatnot. So this is, if you want to go on a tour, grab something else. This will do it, but there's better choices out there for you. One thing this thing can do is crank pretty good. That 116, there's the Power Plus definitely makes more power, but this 116 is torque, and in a bike that is of this weight, it definitely cranks this thing along beautifully. So the other thing I will say is this inverted fork and the Fox suspension that they have in the back, this thing does have a nice ride. When I was test riding Chiefs originally, I thought I wanted a bobber. And after riding a Sport Chief right after the bobber, I was like, okay, it's obvious. That suspension, the brakes, that Sport Chief is just a better riding bike, especially for what I want to do with it, which is going to be carve corners and stuff like that. Now that the fact that this comes factory with this setup for where your feet are, having the controls move forward, this is better. The fact that it has some luggage, I like that as well. And a lot of people, like everyone at the dealership, was not for these bags when they saw pictures of them. They do look better in person. If you haven't seen these yet, go to a dealer, check them out. Heck, if you're down south where it's not 40 degrees like it is today, take one out for a test ride. I wanted to get this test ride done today because tomorrow, in true Wisconsin form, we're probably going to have about 6 or 7 inches of snow. And tell you what, that sucks because our roads are actually starting to get cleaned up decent, and that's all going to be for nothing now. But March in Wisconsin, what can you expect? That's just the way it is. For those of you that are watching my phone on this RAM mount that it doesn't really fit the greatest on, trust me, I know. I didn't have my mount with me, and I grabbed this from the dealership quick, so it's on loan. This is not how I would normally cart my phone around, but this is what's going to work this time. So let's take this glove off, since I don't have a good way to touch anything. Enter in my passcode and crank some music. Crank it up all the way. That's fully cranked right now, I think. For sure it is now. Through the helmet I can hear it just fine. Sand up here, baby. Went down an extra gear I didn't need to. Tell you what, you can hear it at highway speeds. Yeah. Hell yeah. One thing I'll say, that's what a really bad idea to do what I just did, but these bikes are so stable. You can do it and live to tell about it. So the speaker's pretty good. I'd say that rocks. As far as the way it sounds and how loud it can get, I will say the way you connect it to the screen sucks currently. And the fact that I can only run it off my phone, that sucks. That's what the screen is here for. This is supposed to be what I'm using. Yeah, I know this is not plugged in right now. It doesn't matter because I can't get that to pair to this. So in order for this to pair to that, I have to have it unplugged from here, otherwise it just really gets confused. So Indian, Polaris, I know you guys are good at your infotainment stuff generally. Right now it seems like you're a little bit behind, and I really hope you get some more processing power in this little guy here. And honestly, even on your bigger bikes, it seems that they just take so long to boot up now, and it's getting to the point of not acceptable. So 2026, let's get some new freaking computers in these things. And you know what, in our touring bikes, let's get a big screen in there like the neighbors have. So all right, enough of that. This still feels like Sport Chief, which is awesome as far as the way the bike handles. We got a little puppy dog up here. He wants to hang out. What's up, dog? We're gonna let this guy eat down the road over here. Of course, is that Jeep following me? No. All right, now we're gonna let it eat down the road. Not bad. You know, these Thunderstrokes, you gotta short rev them. You can't, after $5 grand, they're pretty well done unless you start doing, you know, cam upgrades and air intake upgrades. This thing here is completely stock, so, but this engine has really proven itself in reliability. We had a customer with an original 111 that went over 600 and some thousand miles before, unfortunately, he totaled the bike out by hitting a deer. But yeah, he's okay. He's still up and riding. He's just riding some different stuff now. If I remember right, Indian actually bought the bike from the insurance company because they wanted to do some R&D on it and kind of, you know, take it apart and see what it was all about. See, I'm thinking I don't want to go all the way down here, but she's windy today. I didn't think it was going to be this windy. It's warmer than I thought, 49, but with this wind, it sure don't feel like it, and with the lack of sun, it sure don't feel like it. But yeah. Gobble gobble. So there you have it, the 2025 Indian Sport Chief RT. Not quite a perfect bike, a couple little quirks that I think they need to work out with on the navigation screen and everything. I hope they can do that with a software update, or at least give us a video and show us exactly how to do it. I couldn't find anything else on YouTube that Indian had posted, and going through the instruction manual, I did exactly what they said and it wasn't working. So hopefully they can get that figured out so we can actually use the speaker. The speaker, when you got it connected to your phone right now, it sounds really nice. It is plenty loud. I was cranking at over 80 miles an hour. I could hear everything perfectly through my helmet with the visor down, and it sounded really good actually. I was pretty impressed with how well that speaker did at speed. The rest of the stuff that they did with the bags, yeah, that's great. Give us bags, you gave us bags. They don't look bad on there. The controls layout, I do like having my feet a little bit more forward. Now I just need to raise my bars up, which thankfully Indian has an accessory for that. So if you got any questions on this bike, please let me know below. Drop me a comment to tell me what you think of this thing. Is this a cool addition for 2025? Is it really not enough to really make that big of a difference? Are you interested in buying one of these? Let me know what you think. So as always, thanks for watching the video until the end. I really appreciate the support. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. And if you like what you see, click the like button below. Lastly, don't forget to enjoy the ride. We'll see ya.